I unapologetically love Moana. I love that movie, man. I love it so much. I got the soundtrack of it in my regular rotation when I'm driving in my car. It was like the world's number one most streamed movie for like 4 years in a row. And so it was with some degree of interest and excitement that I saw that they were going to do a live action Moana, because when you change mediums, to me, it delivers a different experience. I also thought it was pretty interesting that they were bringing back Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to actually play the live action of Maui. I mean, why not? And so in we went. Now, I will confess that I did not love the initial trailer. Had a little bit of a weird vibe to it. I thought the second trailer was better, but I have not ever been able to tip myself over that point of being what I would call excited to see Moana. There's something about it. And I think live action adaptations can be great. I'm looking at you, Cinderella. I think they can be great, but I don't know. It just kind of felt off. Now, I have not seen Moana yet, but I'm going to go in and see it tomorrow. And my expectations have shrunk even more because the reviews are now out for Moana, and they're not good. As of this moment, it is tracking a 35% on Rotten Tomatoes. Could be worse. Not a lot, but it could be worse. Not looking particularly good. And when you go in and actually look at the reviews, even the positive ones are like, a little bit. We go over and take a look at some of them here. Daily Telegraph wrote, "A lovely effort. They liked it. That will stand the test of time despite sticking the same blueprint as the original." Bleeding Cool did not like it. They said Moana is a remake in every sense of the word, with the only meaningful difference being the change in medium, which somehow makes some of the most beautiful locations look drab and ugly. Austin Chronicle did not like it. Screenwriter Dana Ledoux Miller barely tinkers with Jared Bush's words from the original, which leaves little to be surprised or excited by. Alonzo surprisingly liked it over at Film Verdict. He said, "The best that can be said for Moana 2026 is that for a movie that doesn't particularly need to exist in the first place, it at least succeeds as entertainment." IGN Movies gave it a pass. They said Moana offers visually pleasing live-action outing for the Polynesian heroine while being constricted by its faithfulness to the original storyline and camera beats. Daily Telegraph did not like it. It said there's barely a moment in it which feels as if it couldn't have been achieved by typing, "What if this scene from Moana was remade in live action," into a video generator prompt box. Blind Moral liked it, said, "It entertains, it moves when appropriate, and it demonstrates a genuine respect for the source material, but it also confirms that the studio's strategy is beginning to show signs of exhaustion." That was, of course, in Spanish. Movie Web didn't like it. They said a near shot-for-shot remake that adds live actors like Dwayne Johnson, but lacks much of the original wit, charm, and heart. And then I'll just end off with Coming Soon. They didn't like it. They said there are tons of incompletely made movies that are significantly worse than the live action Moana. And yet I respect those films and filmmakers so much more than I respect this. Woo! All right, look, let me say this up front, guys. I have no issue, philosophically speaking, and I knew this going in, I have no issue if you want to do a live action remake and it's practically beat for beat, because if you can breathe life into it when it changes mediums, I think even if it's beat for beat, it can deliver a very different experience. So like I'll use not apples to apples comparison here, but like 300. 300 was beat for beat to the graphic novel, almost shot for shot, but it's a totally different experience. Like a completely different experience to me that I really enjoyed. And I thought that was something Moana could have done, but you got to understand when you're changing mediums and you're going to go shot for shot, you still have to breathe a different soul into it. And again, I haven't seen it. Maybe I'll come out of it tomorrow. I got a great doubleheader tomorrow. I'm going to go see The Invite, and I'm going to go see, well, maybe it's not a great doubleheader. Then I'm going to go see Moana, but maybe I'll end up liking it. But it sounds like it just failed to inject the live action soul into it. I'm not really sure. So anyway, Sean, you and I haven't talked about this. Have you seen this live action Moana yet? If so, what did you think of it? If not, is anything of what we're hearing surprising you? I don't know. What are your thoughts?
No, so the press screening in Austin was last night, which was the same night as the Evil Dead Burn press screening, and I chose to go see
Ah,
Evil Dead Burn
you
last night,
chose
and
wisely.
I had a really good time watching people die horrible deaths in that movie. But I just can't say that this is surprising at all because it just felt too soon. Watching the trailers,
Mhm.
it didn't feel like there was something there that hooked you. Because even if you're doing it live action, it should bring something visceral and feel real. Every shot felt so processed and artificial, like they were, which almost certainly were, in front of green screens as opposed to in open water. And so it still looked animated in its own way. And so it just, there was nothing to it that made it feel like it justified its existence in the marketing. And so discovered that the movie itself just was another lifeless live action remake. That makes sense to me. And kind of like you, there's a number of these live action remakes that I've really enjoyed. And just in my mind, last year's How to Train Your Dragon,
Yep.
the idea of watching
Oh,
a person
yeah.
ride on a dragon is thrilling to see in real life in a way that it plays different versus animated. And just kind of watching this one right here, it just didn't look like it did that. It didn't
I'm
find that spark.
I'm so glad you brought up How to Train Your Dragon because I got to see like a screening of it 4 months before it came out, and I was thrilled with it. Like I couldn't believe how much I enjoyed it. And like I brought them up on the screen a second ago, but like one of our viewers is saying, well, I mean, if How to Train Your Dragon did it, why couldn't Moana? It's hard making a good movie. Even if you're remaking it off something else that already works, it's not easy. And I'm sure they wanted this to be a big hit, and I'm sure they wanted this to be good, but yeah, man, I gotta say, I'm not terribly surprised to see the low scores, and I'm not particularly excited to run out and go see it tomorrow, but I will nonetheless. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? The reviews are now out for the live action Moana, an original film that I completely loved, but it's not getting the same love. Are you surprised to see it not getting adored? Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys.